As we've been talking about all show long, it was supposed to be Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson in Tampa Bay, one of the more anticipated fights of the 2016 UFC calendar. Unfortunately, we have to wait a little longer to see that fight. Unfortunately, Tony Ferguson had to pull out due to an injury. Really wanted to speak to him about that, how he's feeling, and where he goes from here. So he is joining us on the phone right now. Tony, how are you?
Doing good, Ariel. How you doing?
I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. So tell us, not a lot has come out regarding your injury. What exactly happened to you?
Oh man, it's just a freak accident, dude. I didn't overtrain. I've always been pretty careful, and I haven't changed anything up. It's just, one of those things where a shot just slipped and hit the perfect spot and caused trauma, and ended up having fluid and blood, trapped in my lung.
Wow.
What can you do?
Are you listening to Bob O'Reilly right now?
Yeah, I got my music in the background.
It's like you're preparing for your UFC fight. That's the song that plays before the main cards.
No, man. I threw on my computer, just trying to stay busy. This resting kind of thing is in my bag.
So when did this injury happen?
I noticed it on a couple weeks ago, like on a Wednesday, and it just accumulated through. And just like any other time if I get hurt or injured, there's a difference. And at the time I was hurt, and it just got worse and worse, and finally I had to go to the hospital, dude.
Wow.
So yeah.
Did you have to stay there overnight?
No, unfortunately I didn't. I wasn't going to either way. I just knew I was like, you know what, just give me whatever I have to do, give me my scan, and tell me what's going on. And the first time I went to the ER, the doctor she wasn't a specialist, and they were on closing time, so she was kind of on a rush on the way out, and so they figured out that they thought I had a collapsed lung.
Wow.
And so I thought there's something about a little fracture, so I ended up calling one of my doctors, got a second opinion, and it ended up being a hematoma in my lung. There's a specific term that they had, but shit hurt, man. Sucked.
And I couldn't 100% hear you the first time. So how exactly did this happen?
It was just a freak accident, man. Just it's from training. It wasn't from just doing anything different in camp.
Okay.
It just overly happened, and it happened. I don't even know exactly what day it happened. It's just one of those things where the pain just started increasingly over time. Like it started on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
It just accumulated through, and I told my wife I had a shortness of breath on Friday. And I felt like a heart attack.
Whoa.
And I've been eating healthy this whole camp, and a nutritionist made my food, so it wasn't like I was snacking down on fast food or Taco Bell or anything. I've been pretty careful with my stuff. Preparing for Khabib, I was ready. And it just sucked, man. It just kind of accumulated until I just couldn't take it anymore. And got the scans and everything else, and no wonder why I'm kind of in pain.
Now, is this at all life-threatening or career-threatening? Like, how serious is this?
No, it's not career-threatening. We got the test back from after I went to the specialist. They ended up, taking a deeper look at it. The big focus was to not have a fractured rib. But if it wasn't fractured and I just had just something just wrong, I was gonna power through it. Any other time I've ever had little bumps and bruises, that's all I've ever done. I've never pulled out of a fight area, ever. This is like a first for me, and I'm sure all the fans are shocked. I know my bosses were shocked. They called me and asked me what was going on, and I didn't have a reason for them. They were like, "Well, you need to train careful," and I'm like, "Well, I train the same way." I train pretty hard, but I know how to rest too.
How did it's obvious? I mean, massive fight. Everyone was looking forward to it. Main event, Fox. I don't need to tell you about how big it was. How did you deal with it when it was a reality that you were not going to be fighting? How did you react?
Well, first of all, when I was reacting, I just knew I was trying to look for a solution. I asked the doctors. I was like, "Well, is this obviously life-threatening? Is there something I should worry about?" And blah blah blah. Asked the questions, got the answers that I needed from different doctors. I went to the hospital probably like 3 times.
Wow.
And just I went to my managers, and the fight could have been saved and moved to May 29th in Vegas.
Yeah.
Khabib was given that option, and the UFC even asked me about it. So, for me, on my end, I was like, "Look, man, you've pulled out of this fight a couple times already. I don't know exactly what injuries he had or how serious it was. I never asked, those questions. I was just like, look, I'm going to try to move on. I'm going to try to, figure this out while you heal." So I thought maybe, for instance, that he would have been like, "All right, cool. I'm not going to take an easy fight. I know we both have been training. You saw on his Twitter where he said, I know how you feel." And I'm sure he does. But, on the May 29th, he would have showed up. He would have got his show money. And I think, I would have been more than prepared for it. Because right now I'm starting to heal. I have good days and bad days. But I'm so determined for the May 29th fight. I just kind of bummed that he was given that option, and he ended up taking a fight with a guy that has half of his fights and making his UFC debut.
So we actually had him on just a few minutes ago, and I asked him if he was told that if he gets by Horcher on Saturday, if the May 29th date is his against you, like if that's still in play. His response was he didn't want to talk about the future. He just wanted to focus on the fight, and I understand that the fight is 5 days away. Have you been told that if he wins and is healthy and looks good and all that stuff, that you guys will be fighting on May 29th?
The dude doesn't want to talk about the future yet. He was talking about fighting RDA at UFC 200. The guy goes back and forth. He doesn't want to fight me, and this camp doesn't want to fight me. I'm a very intense person, but it's like, I don't know, I think it's a little ridiculous, but if he comes out of this fight unscathed, and there's no reason for it, it's before his holiday, and I'm down for it, man. I haven't been eating shitty. I've been eating good. I've been focusing on everything, been watching film. The same thing I've been doing, but I haven't been able to compete and actively go out there and do all the stuff that I want to do. So it's kind of a bummer, like he didn't take the fight, but I know he doesn't want to think past this guy, but I'm on his mind. And I know he doesn't. I know he had a big sigh of relief after he heard that I wasn't going to be able to take the fight.
What was your reaction when you found out who he was fighting, that it wasn't a Cerrone type or someone like that it was a guy making his UFC debut in Darrell Horcher? What did you think when you heard that?
Well, I think it's a little bit kind of crazy. I mean, there's different options. In one of the fights, Beneil Dariush got a shot at somebody. And I just believe there's other people that they could have threw at him. Because if Khabib loses, there goes his credibility. Then obviously I still want to fight the dude because I know I want to put him in his place, but it's hard to talk bullshit when you're injured, man.
Yeah.
You can't say too much because I don't believe in karma, but shit happens for a reason, dude. I'm having a baby and with my wife, and these things, just like I said, these things just happen for a reason. So, and the reason I fight is to provide for my family and to be the best in the sports history. I may not be flashy on the mic. I may sound angry all the time because I'm just so focused on whooping ass, and just being the baddest fighter on the planet.
If memory serves me correct, the baby's coming any day now, right? Isn't this the month that you're yeah? When is it? Around now?
No, April 24th was the due date.
Okay.
So the plan was to go in there, whoop some ass, come home to mama and deal with it, and not deal with it, but have fun and be able to relax and to enjoy different things. Mm-hmm. So now it's like I said, it's a blessing, and I can't look past it. It's one of those things, and God just wanted me to be able just to focus on everything right now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to take a chill pill, relax a little bit, and learn and grow from this. And this fight was very long camp, and the fans out there are just crazy. I love them, every fucking one of them. And so it's a cool little experience that we had, but it's a bummer that this is our fourth time, trying to fight. And like I said, hopefully we can give the fans exactly what they want, man. I know you want to see this fight. I want to see this fight.
Oh man, yeah. Everyone was very bummed. Especially, coming right off the John Jones DC news to lose two main events back to back. There's there's a fun dynamic between you two. Definitely bad news, but of course, when you hear about something like when you put that statement out, I was like, wow, this is it's scary stuff. Are you able to say exactly how you suffered this injury? Because it's not something that you hear about often.
It's like I said, it's a freak accident. The doctors didn't know.
Wow.
It wasn't just from trauma. They said it could have been from dehydration. And I've heard every excuse, Ariel. And the only thing that it gets me is I'm pissed. It happened. And how it happened, I really don't have a direct answer because it happened in the middle of the week and supposedly, and I started noticing it more as I went on. Nothing changed in my camp, and that's what's the trippy part of it. So it wasn't from, standing on the ball, doing my hammer swings around the world or kicking a tire or lifting a tire. It had nothing to do with that shit. It was just, like I said, a freak accident that happened, and hopefully my body recovers better, and I know it will. And I'm not a quitter, For this first time to ever something like this happen, it just kind of, like I said, it's a bummer, dude. It's a bummer for the fans, and I feel for these fans that bought their tickets and they don't, they have their hard-earned money and they want to see me fight. And I get these messages, like, hey, we were looking forward to watching you fight. You're our favorite fighter. You're a fighter's fighter, and you give it everything that you got inside there, win or lose. And they're right. In my fight against Michael Johnson, I broke my arm, in the second round, and I couldn't feel it, but I used one of my arms to fight the dude back. I almost beat the guy. I lost by points, but I wasn't going to have a TKO or a KO or a blemish like that on my record. That's how much pride I have in the sport.
Is there a possibility in your mind, crazier things have happened, that, given the timing and everything, RDA still doesn't have a fight, that you might just get a title shot now? I mean, your resume certainly warrants it, given the winning streak and who you've beaten. Is it possible that this thing works out where you don't fight Khabib anymore and they just put you in a title shot? Has that been discussed?
I'll whoop his ass, too. That's plain and simple, man. I prepare every fight differently as far as mentally and as far as watching film and my game plans. I always go in there with an open mind, and if it's either RDA, even if it's Alvarez, and they want to give me Alvarez in one of the fights, he's not looking to sign on the dotted line anytime quick. You got Pettis fighting Barbosa, and I guarantee you Barbosa's going to whoop his ass too.
Wow.
So it's a hard little one, man, and I'm ready for whoever they give me, put it that way. And I have never taken an easy way to the top. Any time that they've ever given me a fight or they ask me who I wanted to fight, I ask my bosses, like, hey, you guys tell me who you want me to fight. You put them on the dotted line, I'll sign it, and we're going to go in there, we're going to do business. I'm a company man, and I've always been that way, and my relationship with my bosses have always been pretty serious because they know I'm all about taking care of business. You can't bullshit hard work, and you can't bullshit finishes. My record speaks for itself, and I'm a finisher, man. I don't grind out fights just to grind them out. If somebody pisses me off, I'll make them go the full 3 rounds with me. And it's, like I said, I hate to talk like this because I'm injured, and you can't do shit about it.
Right.
But if they do give me that title shot, I'll take it. And it's no doubt about it, man. I'll go in there and I'll finish that dude. This is MMA, and I'm a thinker, and I love to go in there, and my conditioning is always on point. One thing I found out is I have long lungs. So every one of my doctors is like, you must have great cardio.
I'd imagine, though, that you do want to get that Khabib fight in at some point, right? I mean, too much has happened. It's been, discussed for so long. That's something that you want to see happen, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I want to see it happen. There's a lot of time and energy in that fight.
Yeah.
I would love to do it. There's a lot invested in that stock, man. I want to cash in my checks on that one and put a blemish on his record and send him on his way home, dude. There's a lot of hype behind this guy saying, Khabib champ and this and that and blah, blah, blah. He's, you haven't fought real opponents, Tony. Get out of here, man. I fought top 5 opponents, top 10 opponents, even when I was ranked number 70 or something like that when I broke my arm. I fought my way back, every step of the way through the ladder. Like I said, if I was a little bit more flashy on the mic, I'd probably have an easier way. But that's not me. It's not my bag. I'm about being focused, taking my skills to a new level, getting that mat time during certain fights. And then when the real fights come around, it's about dealing damage and going in there and finishing these guys. So that way there's no objection to that they don't want to rematch. They don't want to face me again. And they're looking for different weight classes to go and fight.
Will you be watching his fight on Saturday? And if so, are you rooting for Khabib to win so that, your fight with him can remain intact?
Nah, man, I'm going to go for the underdog. Of course I'm going to go for the underdog. This dude's 12-1. I don't really care about odds or betting things. I don't really pay attention to that. But this kid's got a shot, man, and it's his debut. I wish all the best luck to both of them. I hope none of them get hurt. You never wish that.
Yeah.
And I really hope that we see a good fight. I don't want to see a lame-ass fight with somebody I got replaced by. Hopefully this dude's in shape, and he's got his technique down on pat, and he's avoiding all the negative talk from all the fans, which I'm sure he's probably gotten attacked because they kind of used up on me.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I love it. It grinds, man. I don't think the fans realize it, that when you do something like that, it fuels the fire to train. and to prepare, even if your opponent's not, saying anything.
Well,
In the Ultimate Fighter house, I had everybody against me, and then I knocked everyone out. This is a fight game, man. It is what it is.
So they're talking smack to you about pulling out? That's what happened?
I get it either way, man. It doesn't even matter. Fans are going to be fans, and trolls are going to be trolls.
Right.
And keyboard warriors hide behind their desk and with their Cheeto fingers and whatever else they do behind that desk. But I'm here doing what I do best, and it's preparing for the next opponent. So, I have my home gym right here, and I haven't been able to do it because the doctor says I need to rest. But as soon as I get a little bit of just that little bit of okay from the doc, and he says, go ahead and start training,
Yeah.
I'm back after it, dude. I'm going to realign all of my camp. I'm going to pull in some different UFC fighters for this. I'm going to hire a couple different trainers. And I'm going to make this shit happen, dude. I'm one of the world's best fighters, with a great finishing rate. And I aim to please when I go out there. And I hate being a boring fighter, put it that way. I'm a flow fighter.
And speaking of that, do you have any kind of timetable as to when you will be 100%, when you can go, full on as far as training and all that? Have they told you that yet?
Well, it would either be 2 to 4 weeks is what they said. They said 4 weeks probably max. And that's why I said the May 29th card would have been perfect.
Uh-huh.
If I did that, it would have given me 4 or 5 weeks to train, including fight week. And I'm already in shape, dude. I'm in great shape. I was close to weight. I was fighting to make 170 for the fight, eating as much as I could and staying hydrated, drinking my gallon of water a day and getting all my, my supplements in. And, dude, I was prepared for this guy. And I still am. I'm not going to get unprepared and start eating shit and start feeling sorry for myself because that's not how I am. I'm a champion, dude, and a lot of people just don't know it. And it's fine with me. So as long as I have a job here, providing for my family, and being able to go out there and kick some ass, I'm going to do what I do best and finish these guys.
Final thing, it's obviously a setback. It's a slight setback, but you appear to be oh so close to reaching that promised land. Are you the kind of guy that envisions things? And I'm wondering if you feel like by the end of this year, do you believe you'll be the UFC champion? I mean, it feels like you're just one win away from either being in that fight or from just going into the fight. I mean, just one win away from being champion. Do you feel that it's imminent, like it's going to happen in 2016? It
could. It really could. But if I was focused on that belt, I would go take some classes, being flashy on the mic and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to take an easy road anywhere. With RDA for UFC 200, that would be great. And I would not disappoint, honestly. You have Alvarez, possibly Chicago in July. That would be my second.
Okay.
But you have Alvarez who's waiting for the belt. That dude doesn't want to fight nobody yet. His last fight, he looked like shit. His conditioning looked like crap. But nothing's been confirmed. But I'm excited to have anybody in the top 5, including a title fight, and not having to wait. This injury is unfortunate, but it was out of my control.
Right. Well, I wish you the best, man. I hope for a speedy recovery. Again, everyone disappointed that this fight didn't happen, at least for this weekend, but obviously want to hear that you're okay and you can get back in there sooner rather than later. So I appreciate you coming on and clearing the air and talking about it. And good luck to you guys. As I know I spoke to you and I said this last time, but again, good luck with the baby coming up. It's going to be great. Enjoy that and get well soon, my man.
Hey, thank you. And to all my fans, I will be back. I will be better. And just wait, you guys. You haven't seen nothing yet.
All right. Looking forward to it. There he is, El Kukui. Tony Ferguson. He was supposed to fight this weekend. Not going to happen. Crazy things happen in the sport. And it was back-to-back for the UFC. But, of course, you want to wish him well and see that everything works out okay and that he's healthy and gets back in there. I truly believe that he is one win away from fighting for the belt. I mean, you'd have to think a win over Khabib would have got him that shot. Let's see how it all pans out.